April 5th, 2020. Look who's parked right across from me. Douchebag brother on. He usually parks at the corner. But now he's parked right across from me. I don't know if you can see the address. It's still far, it's still right across from me, but come on now. The holiday is finished, I think. I don't even know. Might still be here this week. Yeah, we were supposed to have this week off. I don't know if you can see any stars. Yeah, look at those stars. It's pretty cool. The planes and everything. So this lady across the street, she's two Yorkies, and all they do is bark at everybody. So, they bark at everybody, especially if they're like far away from them. So it's kind of funny. And, the mailman was, giving me my package, and she's standing up, staring at him. I was sitting here, so the mailman was right, the next gate. So I was facing that way. So she's holding the dog as it's barking. I'm not telling it to stop barking because it doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't you tell it? Stop barking. And the mailman was a different color, you know what I mean? So, and she was staring at him like she wanted to murder him or something. So I'm like, oh my god, she's a Karen. That's what I was thinking. But she wouldn't stop staring at him. Even when he walked away from my house, I had to do more, give out the rest of the mail. Like, what are you watching for? He's not stealing. He's the mailman. But that lady's a witch too, because she never used to come outside, ever. Not even once. But I used to always smell something weird coming from their house. And one of my earlier videos, there was some smoke. There was smoke coming from the side of the house, and it smelled like sewage. And I was already all the way on my porch on the top step. I just was sitting out here. I was like, what the hell is that smell? And I noticed the smoke coming from there. And then I had watched a video of somebody else saying the same thing. Like, there's the witches in the neighborhood will do their rituals, and you'll smell sewage and other nasty smells. And there's whatever they put in their jars or whatever in their altar. You know what I mean? They put a lot of the weird shit in there. My neighbor did the same thing. Witchy poo. She made her husband do it though. So they got a big jar of pickles, they emptied it out and they put something in it. I don't know what the fuck it was. It smelled like rotten eggs and shit. So I don't know what was in there. And then one day I saw him holding it and going to the backyard. He was running to the backyard. I was, doing chores in my room, and I had the shutters open, so I saw him. And I was like, what the fuck? He ran out of there. He was clutching this jar, and the cigarette butts in there too, and all this other stuff. I did a video about it. Somebody said that they live in an apartment building with a witch, and this witch would pee in the jar and they put other stuff in it. And if she didn't like you, she would walk by your door, open the jar, and throw the piss jar, piss contents, under your door. So you constantly smell piss. And that's true. I looked it up. There's a whole bunch of different spells that they use to, that they could use on you. You could Google it. It's on Google. They use food. They use jars like that, piss jars, and they use crystals. They use a lot of stuff, mostly food. I saw there's a video on YouTube. This guy was digging for treasures, and he found the witch jar, and he opened it, and there was some weird shit in there. It was old too. The house that he was digging for the treasures had the witch lived there, so she was always doing spells for people, and she would bury the jars in the dirt. And he had said that he'd never found anything in that property before, like nobody was living there, so he found it. And there was what was in there? It was oil, some wild flowers, other stuff, and like a spell or something. I don't know if it was a love spell or something, but he found his paper in there with like writing on it, and then I think symbols was in it too. And then people are making that kind of stuff and selling it on eBay. And I watched an opening, unboxing of that. And she's like, oh boy, what the hell's in here? Because there was all that kind of weird stuff. And a pentagram necklace. And there was candlesticks, not used. Just plain old 99-cent candlesticks, you know what I mean, with the little wick sticking out. And all these other things in there. She's like, I'm getting very bad vibes from this box. And all the witches in the comments were like, no, we're good, we don't do that. They really believe that they're doing a good thing when they're, making those spells and jars and stuff. That's why they do that to people like me who believe in Christ. They put all these spells on us because they know Christ is more powerful than any entity on earth and in the other realms. So when you have your ulcers in there, I don't care if anybody gets offended by this video, me talking about it. But these people, some of them need drugs and alcohol to sleep. And for some reason they sleep all night long, so they put on me their frustrations of not being able to sleep, so I don't sleep. So, yeah. I pray every single night. I gotta do something else, though, because I cannot not sleep through the night, I was already not sleeping so good, but then the pandemic hit, and I took a nap every day. An hour nap every day. And I was like, you know what? I'm taking a damn nap. And I got so much rest, it wasn't even funny. Yeah, I was so well rested. And I was like, it was just such a beautiful thing. Sometimes I gotta come around. Anyway. I came around like 3 times already, trying to hear my conversation. This bird boy. Anyways, I think his mom, what she was doing with the crystals and the bread, was a love spell, because I looked it up. From the first time it happened, I thought he was putting that into my window. He had a crush on me at one point. He used to say hi to me and everything, like all excited. And I'm like, dude, I smell your smoke through my window, and I'm on the first floor. So he told her about that. And she did a spell, but she thought it was funny because I was getting very angry with her. So, and she's an alcoholic, so one time she's been drunk walking around. I actually have not witnessed that, but my sister has. She's like, many times I would come home from work and she would walk past our house and she was like slurring and rolling around, So I'm like, okay, that explains it. And then a couple times I would see her pass by my house and she would have bottles of liquor in her bag. And then I would get the bread on my porch, my window. She would fling it at my window. So these people, these gang stalkers do this kind of stuff too. But they're not on my side this time, which is good. Usually they block my driveway. Today, no. Yeah, so the douchebag brother, the second one, Jillian's best friend, he always parked his taxi cab right across the street. Like where this truck is right now, that's the brother's car, the older brother. Let's make sure you have the name there. Weather Champions and the phone number. Call it for blowjobs. Anyways, that would be funny if he got a lot of phone calls. Yeah, in the beginning, the brother, and I have not seen that car in a long time, would park his car directly across the street where this truck is. And every time I would come outside, he would come outside, you know, to get something from the car. The door open, the trunk open, you know what they do, the gang stalkers. So when I would open the garage, I would see him peeking in. Like he would turn the lights on. He would turn his headlights on. And then he would peek in there. Like I would, you know, be walking, you know, around this gate. So I would see him. He would like peeking. And then a lot of times he would run up the stairs and then open the window and stick his head out the window and stare at me like he was doing a witchcraft too. That's what Witchy Poot did to me a couple times. I would be walking to get coffee. This is when the other place was across the street. I would walk past the house. She would be in the window, like her whole body was pressed against the window itself. And she was just giving me the evil eye. That's what they do. I was surprised she did that when I was with my family. We were in the backyard one day and we had the cushions out with the little couch that we had back there. And we were all chilling out there, playing music, not loud, you know. And she was at her kitchen window, just staring. Like her whole body was pressed against the window. No lights were on, but she was staring at me, like dead at me. Like a statue. It was fucking creepy. She's a fucking creepy bitch. And that too, I looked all of these signs and symbols up. And that's exactly what they do. They come into your dreams too. Like if you start dreaming about them, they're about to do something, and that happened too. You know, usually it's just her, but sometimes it's all three of them. Like she tells them what she's gonna do and she plans it, you know what I mean? So, here they come. So, and one time I dreamt about her. She popped in my dream. And I was like right behind her. As she was walking up the block, I was behind her. I turned around and jumped in the dream. And then in real life that happened, so it was funny. I like to startle people like that in real life. It's fun. It's unexpected, you know. They do that remote neural monitor on us to keep us asleep, and then they like get very shocked when it doesn't work. So somebody's coming. Anyways, so what I want to tell you, T.I, is don't ever get discouraged with these psychopaths. Because all they have to say is, oh, you're schizo. Oh, yeah, get a job. That's all they fucking know how to say, right? When they find out where you live and they post it on YouTube or on Facebook and every other stupid fucking thing. You know? And that's why I don't put my full name on anything, because, you know, anybody could just copy and paste your name and everything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little background check on myself and try to see if I could get everything private again. Like, it was private years ago. I think John might have paid for it paid to see everything. So, and it's expensive to see that stuff. there was only one time I actually got John's address, his new address, and phone number. You know, for Google. They had the yellow pages, so I know he had. Before that, it said he had T-Mobile phone number. Now it's a 718 number. And he used to call me from that number. I used to write it down when it first was getting crankled. So I was like, oh, that's his number. You know, well, the address is a P.O. box, and the nearest post office for me is where he gets his packages. I go there by myself when I have to mail a package. Well, one time my sister dropped me off, and she dropped me off right across the street from, right at the next corner, you know what I mean? And he came around on his bike at that moment as I was on that corner, right across the street. He was on his bike. I was like, how the fuck this motherfucker knew I was gonna be there at that moment? It's because that's Satan. He tells them to go there. He tells them to go there. It's ridiculous. Yes. They have to know where we're at 24/7. You know what I mean? They act like children if they don't know. Oh yeah. So, like I said, these people are crazy. They're so narcissistic. It's not even funny that they have to know where we're at and what we're doing and who we're with. Mind your fucking business. How many times is gonna open the fucking trunk? Anyway. So don't worry about these people. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're not really gonna come by your house. Even if they find out where you live, they're not coming. They're full of shit. Call them out on their bluff. That's what I did. Some teenager called my cell phone. I don't even have a house phone. I have a cell phone. He called my cell phone. So he was shutting off the phone on the second floor. He was the phone company because there's only one. He's like, I'll be there in an hour and 45 minutes. I'm like, okay. Come, bring it. Come here. He goes, I will. I said, well, guess what? If you do that, make sure you know that the police are going to be waiting for you. He hung up and never called me again. Fuck that little bitch. How did he know to call my cell phone? John had to have given him my cell phone number. Because he pays teenagers to come walking around my house with their red and black on and all this other stuff. You know, they were staring at me too. And I never understood the whole gang stalking thing until, after I started, looking it up on YouTube. I'm like, oh, that's what John's doing to me. So then I realized, okay, that makes sense. He's working where he gets paid, he spends his money on dime bags. And then he hangs out in the park over there. I didn't know he was living there though. I did not know he was living right there until like about two years ago. I saw him in the neighborhood. I just thought he was coming down here, and then I saw him getting off the train. And then I saw him in a car. So I'm like, okay, I think he lives here now. And then that time last year, I was by myself at the park, and I saw him sticking his head out the window. I was like, really? Oh, you live here? Finally, I get to know, where he's at, what he's doing. Yeah, he pays teenagers. He hangs out with only teenagers. And he pays them and joints, and I don't know if he rolls them up himself or he probably is dealing on the side. I'm going to give him that. He's probably dealing on the side. And he tells the teenagers, I'll give you weed. I'll give you booze. Go to this person's house and wear red and black. Those are the colors that gang stalkers with. American flag stuff too. I got an American flag shirt. I'll wear it. Just the gang stalkers. So I seen this elderly man with a really tall dude like walking him across the street, and he looked like he was pissed off that he had to even do it. But his mannerisms were a little gang stalkerish, and he was just chilling at the corner. Like he made sure the guy across the street with no problem. And he was sitting by the big building over there where all the homeless people used to hang out. And the way he was acting, like, he seemed like either a handler or a gang stalker. And let me tell you, he had a gold chain on, a leather jacket, like, I don't even know, expensive sneakers on. He had so many things that a lot of people can't afford. And he's gonna hang out in this neighborhood, in the stingiest neighborhood ever. Like, I mean, they do spend their money, you know, on expensive things, but not like that, not the way this guy was dressed. They're actually very modest in this neighborhood. Everybody wears expensive suits and, you know, dresses and all that. It's not really supposed to be flashy, so I spend, you know, my money on stuff like that on occasion, you know, because I know, you know, there's psycho people out there and they see that you have that stuff and they want it, you know, they try to take it, you know, I try not to be, you know, flash anything. Nobody needs to know I have stuff, you know. I keep everything modest. You know, praying to God every single night. Breaking the curses. I have so many ways to break every curse that's put on me now and forever. So I'm gonna show you a book that I bought. I'm gonna buy the whole series actually. It's an exorcist and he made books on how to break curses. You know, strongholds, all that stuff. Because, you know, people out there, they're jealous. Even if you only have one thing that's really expensive, the wrong person sees it and they get so angry and jealous at you. And they put curses. I wish I would have fucking videoed that one guy. When I was at Dunkin', yellow at Dunkin', I was sitting in the window seat and he comes up to me. Like, nobody saw him do this. And it was so quick, like the vampires in Twilight, you know, they run the way they ran. He literally did that. He parked his car and flew to my side of the street, stood up against the window, pointed at his Illuminati fucking symbol on his shirt. He had the triangle with the eye in it, and he kept looking down to make sure I saw it. And he was just staring like a psychopath. So he was doing witchcraft on me. And then he turned around, stood near the garbage, and looked up to the sky and started saying something to the sky. After he did that, I took out my St. Michael prayer. He whipped his head back. As soon as they did that, like, as soon as they finished the prayer, he whipped his head back and started running the other way. He got so angry, and he started running away from me. Good. In fact, I'm going to look for that St. Michael prayer and stick that in my pocket. Next time I go out, I'll just pray that before I leave the house, too. I mean, it keeps the perps away, it really does. I hear something, let's go see what it is. I don't know what that noise is, but I hear it. I see, I don't know if you can see it, I see blinking lights over there, like a tow truck or something. Let's see. Somebody out there. Yeah. That's a truck. Alright. Somebody's outside. Just wanted to show you that shit. Alright. So be safe, T.I S.